Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Civilization 6 Discoveries with Will and Robin. We are up to episode 5 and it is a joy for me to be a guest on Will's Never Odd or Even channel. Hey Will, how you going?
Yeah, really good. Looking forward to taking the game forward again here. This is going to be an exciting, I think, episode where a number of important things are going to happen. You'll remember from last time, Robin's about to send some settlers out to possibly build a new city, and I've got to actually fight off this impending barbarian invasion.
Viewers may notice that if you've watched the previous 4 episodes, the screen layout is a little bit different. Will has gone all out in making this screen look a little bit more. I like it. I like the fact that I'm now a Viking and my face is next to the Vikings. I like it. Cleopatra suits you very well, Will.
Oh, thank you very much. I have also taken some of the feedback from our viewers, and thank you so much for everybody who's left comments and likes and subscribes. We have increased the resolution in the recording, so some of the words will be a little easier to read. It's made the file size a little larger, but that's okay. We can cope with that. So I hope that's good, and please keep your feedback coming. We're really keen to hear from you about how we can improve your site.
We are indeed.
All right. Well, without further ado, Robin, we might start with you today. Tell us what's going on.
Okay. Well, friends, if you remember from last time, I had a bit of a housing issue. My housing issue is 3 out of 4. And so I'm a little bit concerned about that. One of the things I've noticed in the game is that if your housing is restricted, then it basically means your city doesn't grow. And that's not a good thing. So I am trying to find a way of increasing my housing, and Willa suggested that I build a settler. So I've got that in my production turn, whatever you call it, and I've got 4 turns for that to be completed. I do have a builder which is sitting over a campsite, and so I'm wanting to get him to build a camp. I noticed that my banana and my teas require irrigation before I can do anything with them, so I'm going to have to wait, and also the spices, I have to wait for that to be done.
How long have you got on irrigation? Are you working on that at the moment?
No, unfortunately, I've done sailing.
Okay.
So sailing next turn will be ready to go.
Yep.
And then I'll work on irrigation.
Well, that's pretty good, because just out here off the coast, you've got some fish. So you'll be able to send that builder out to the fish. You might have to do some city expansion improvement. How much gold have you got?
Not too much, actually. 54 gold. I don't know if that's good or not.
It might be okay. But yeah, look, we can cross that bridge when we come to it.
All right. And with that builder, my warrior needs to move, and he's going to continue to explore. So I'm going to move him up to the river, and that is my turn.
Okay, so there's that warrior there that just moved, and he's coming across the river looking at those spices. There was a barbarian scout somewhere around here, but as we predicted, he has bolted when he's seen the strength of your mighty warriors there. And look how strong and mighty they are. You've got 3 warriors carrying a stone axe and 1 carrying some kind of clubby thing. I love how you can zoom in so close and see the graphics in this, and see them all standing there.
Going to have to get better weapons, though. Stone axes and a club is probably not such a great thing for a Viking.
Now, just on the zoom in too, one of the things that our viewers may have noticed is that when you did press build with that builder, you went from 3 builders to only 2 builders, which reflects the fact that your builders can only build 3 times, and 1 gets used up each time you build something.
Very good. That's important to know. Then you have to build another builder.
Yep, that's right. All right, so I heard the ding ding, which means that you've just completed your turn. I have to have a look and see what it is that I'm going to do in my turn. So I'm going to click the Unit Needs Orders button. It's taking me across to my scout, which is way over the other side here. And he's about to cross the river and get me another improvement. Okay, so I have also got a builder over here, and my builder is on his way down to sheepland and will improve the sheep pastures later on. I also have a warrior, and my warrior is heading down to deal with this barbarian incursion in the south. So that's it for me, and I'm going to hit next turn. Now, down the side here, I do have my scout unit is now available for promotion, which means that I can talk about promotions next turn. Tribal village contacted. Here we are. My villagers gave me an era score point, which has actually put me towards having a better era score. I might talk about era score now, actually. That'd be a helpful thing. Down the bottom of the screen, where it says next turn, there's a little circle. Can you see that? Down the bottom underneath there?
Yep.
And at the moment, my circle is close to halfway around with a bit of blue in it, but actually black most of the way around. It's reflecting that I have 5 out of 12 era score points. And I have to get 12 era score points to avoid going into a dark age. Now, yeah, a dark age doesn't sound good, does it?
No, and that's a bit worrying because I'm only at 1.
Now, it is a dark age, contrary to popular belief, is not the end of the world. It does sound apocalyptic, but it is not the end of the world. In a dark age, in the early stages of the game, it doesn't really cause too many problems. It will reduce the loyalty of your citizens and increase their willingness to join another civilization. So, it will increase other civilizations' appeal. And so later on in the game, especially if you're at war and you're in a dark age, you could find your cities leaving your civilization to join another, and that would be like really bad.
Not good at all.
So don't worry too much at the moment. Now, if you can get to twice what it takes to get to a dark age, then you'll enter what's called a golden age, and you get special improvements and special effects. So when they come up, when we either enter a dark age or a golden age, we'll explore that in greater detail then. But it's a good idea just at the moment just to note that those points are building up and that they're ticking over.
And how does one get those points? Use barbarians, new tribes. Yep. They're the main ways at this stage.
So up the top, at the very diagonally opposite end of our game screen, you'll actually see a number of circles up there. One that's a tech tree, one that's a civic stream. We've looked at both of those before. The government circle, the great people circle, the world climate circle, the governor's circle. So we'll cover all these later on. But the last one is actually what's called the history timeline. I've just clicked on my history timeline, and it shows me that all of the ways that I've actually gained era score points throughout history by showing me my prominent history events. So I've currently gained 5 points, and you can see here that I got 1 point for meeting the people of Norway in the first round. So that was a nice little bonus point because we're allies. That's the 1 point you probably have on yours.
Yes, that's right.
I got another point in turn 2 because the citizens of Rakadet adjust to their new home to keep a wary eye on the nearby river. So I got a point there because I built a new city in a dangerous location. Yeah, that's okay. Nice. I've met 3 villages, and so each one of those villages has given me an era score. So that's actually in turn 4, turn 7, and turn 10. I didn't realise we were as far advanced as turn 10, but there's been a couple of turns where not much has happened. So that's why I've got a total of 5 points. I'm pretty sure you'll get some extra points when you establish a new city. And there are a range of other things that actually cause the building of wonders, the building of new units for the first time, meeting of foreign empires, discovering new continents, circumnavigating the globe. All of those kind of things will give you era points. So
I've got to work on that.
Yeah. All right. So that's the end of my go. So I'm going to press my next turn button, and that will advance us to the next turn, and I'll move us up to Robinland. Oh, hang on. I just had a fight. Before we do that, I'm just going to look at this fight that just happened. All right. Because I moved my warrior down towards where the Barbarian Warrior is, the Barbarian Warrior attacked me in its turn. So this is a turn-based game. It looks like the Warrior has hit me, but has done more damage to himself than he has done to me, and that's largely because I was fortified and on a defensive location with the forest. My defense modifier was 3. In response to that, we might just deal with this battle now. I'm going to actually hit him back. Now, it gives me an estimate down the bottom of how this battle will go. It's likely that I'm going to take 2 damage and he's going to take 4 damage because my total strength is 23 and his total strength is 16. So I'm going to do that. I think it's a good deal. I'm going to hit him.
Do it.
There's the battle.
Oh, watch them go down.
And as you can see, I've reduced him to only 2 people. I've still got my 3 people. But what's even more exciting than that is that my unit is now available for promotion. And now, speaking of promotion, we were able to show that with the scout. So I'm going to zoom across. Here we go. Here's my scout. So on my scout window, I've got a promotion available button down here. I've moused over. I'll click on that there, and it opens what's called the promotion tree. My options are at the beginning, at the top of the tree, is to make him a ranger, which gives the unit faster movement in the woods and rainforest terrain, or an alpine, which actually gives him faster movements on hill terrain. Now, looking around, I think there's a lot of woods, so I'm going to make him a ranger.
Good choice.
So I click on that. He now becomes a ranger, and he's got a little number 1 next to him that says he's a number 1 level ranger, which is very cool. Now,
very nice.
It didn't happen with this scout because he hadn't taken any damage, but gaining experience and levels, being able to advance them, also gives them hit points back. So it's actually a pretty cool thing to be able to do in the middle of a fight, because it means I can heal up and attack again, and with more power and more strength. But we'll cover that in my next turn.
Excellent.
I've just completed animal husbandry, which is
well
cool.
done.
So I get to open my tech tree and have a look and see what I would like to do next. And I'm just looking around here at the moment, and I think I need irrigation as well. So I'm going to click on irrigation and move towards that.
You could also have chosen sailing, couldn't you?
I could have chosen sailing, and I do have 2 lots of fish in my local area. You know what? I'm going to do that for something different.
Yeah.
Yep. So hang on. So this is a good thing to note too. Just because I've clicked and locked in irrigation now doesn't mean I'm stuck with that. So I can go into the science tech tree again, and I can click on sailing, change it to sailing, and so now instead of irrigation I'm sailing. So if you do click on something and you go, oh, hang on, not sure I wanted to do that, you can actually change it over. It's not the end of the world, which is a good thing to know. We might have to actually put a little subset on this one, not the end of the world, because I've said that several times during this particular episode.
Do it.
So now that I've completed animal husbandry, I actually can use the builder, which has now appeared nicely on the sheep tile here, to click on improvement pasture, and that will actually produce an extra 1 production and 0.5 housing for my city, because I'll have a pasture. Plus, I get this lovely little sheep pasture that's sort of built here now. As noted before, my builder has now dropped to only 1 person, which shows that he only has 1 build left, so I'll have to think about where I want to send him next.
Can I just ask a question, Will?
Always.
So you built a plantation of the wheat resource, right?
Now, it wasn't a plantation, it was just a farm.
Just a farm. Okay.
Yep. So wheat fields can be improved by farming, and you don't need anything for farming. It's the basic builder function.
Cool. Now, can you actually, if you didn't do animal husbandry, could you still build something on the sheep tile?
No. Well, I think I probably could have built a farm there, but I would destroy the sheep, and so I would choose not to do that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my lovely pasture tile now produces for me 2 food and 3 production. So that's a pretty good tile. So I want to make sure I'm using that tile. So I'm going to go over here, and I can see in my city manage citizens tab that I have got a citizen working that pasture, as well as a citizen working the farm up the top. And my city size is 2, so that means I only have 2 citizens. I have 3.3 surplus food, which is actually growing my city at a reasonable speed, 7 housing for 2 citizens, and 1 amenity of 0 required, so my people are happy. So that's a very nice little place to be.
Very good. Is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn. Over to you, Robin.
Well, look, Will's city is growing really well. Mine is really struggling. Whilst I've got a surplus of 2.5 in food, my amenities is 1 of 1, so I'm at 0, which is not great. And I've got 4 housing for 3 citizens, which means that I've got a bit of a housing crisis going on. So before we get to the settler, because that's a few turns away, I've got a few things. I've just finished sailing, which is excellent. So I will look forward to being able to hopefully get that fish resource later. I've got to choose another research, and given I want to go for irrigation, if I open my technology tree, irrigation requires pottery as a prerequisite. So I've started pottery.
Yep.
I now can move my warrior, so I'll cross the river and continue to explore. Ooh, and I've just found a tribe, which is lovely.
Is that your first tribe?
That's my first tribe.
Oh, that is cool.
So I'm a bit excited about that. So I'm looking forward to going there. And my builder does require some orders, and I'm going to move it to the horse strategic resource, which is up to the north. And I think I'll build that next turn.
So do you have animal husbandry?
I do have animal husbandry, yes.
That'll be good. So that will also give you, we'll be able to talk about that next episode. And speaking of next episode, that is all we've got time for today. Were there any other things you wanted to do in your turn before we finish up today, or does that bring you to the end of your turn?
No, that's the end of my turn.
Well, that's exciting. So we've learned a lot today, and looking forward to where we might get to next week. So until next week, I'll say it's goodbye from me, Will.
Thank you, and goodbye from me. Take care, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.